Hello, you're welcome. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can add elements to your presentation design. Elements like lines, like shapes, and like text, so as to make your presentation look nice and be able to deliver the exact results that you want to deliver to the stakeholders. So to do this, I will start with the lines. So to be able to add lines, you can either use the L, just click on the L on your keyboard. This automatically adds lines. Or you can come to these elements, select elements. So once you select element, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see this very page. So from this page, you select See All. That is, you come to shape. So I select See All. Then under shapes, you see lines, you select See All. So from here, you can be able to select the kind of line you want. Either you want arrows at the edges or you just want a straight line like this. So in my case, I want to start with this straight line. So I will just click on it. So I have different kind of adjustments I can make here. So the first I would like to show you is this stroke color. So I can give a new color to my stroke. Okay. So you can see that the line now has a different color. I can make different kind of adjustments to this very color. Okay. So now I can also click on this stroke style. Once I click on this stroke style, I have options to either make these broken dotted lines. I can also make it very dotted. Okay. Now I can change the stroke weight. So if I drag this, you can see that the weight changes. You can see the size. I can also enter the number that I want if I have a specific number, let's say 25 here. And it also increases the weight. Now for the rounded endpoints, you can see that this is currently looking like a square. If I click on this rounded endpoints, it makes everything become dotted. Okay. Now, let me just go back to the default, okay, and see other adjustments that we can make. So if I come to this line start, if I click on it, you see I have different options. Either I select to have my line start with an arrow or this kind of point or this squared. I can choose anything here. So let me just select this and you see how it looks like. For this swap, it's just I had it in the left and now I can bring it to the right. Okay. So for this other part, it's still my ability to add any of this. So I can add an arrow here. So to this point, I now added an arrow. I can remove this by just clicking on this. So for this one too, I can remove it. So I can just click here and then remove it as well. Another thing that you can do is the line type. You can change the line type. Currently it is straight. I can change it to elbow. So from here, I can select how I want the elbow to look like, as you can see. Okay. And I can also change it to curved. You can see I have option to make different kind of adjustments here, and this can be useful for my presentation design, depending on what I'm designing. So let me just bring it back to straight. Now I can change the transparency. You can see that this is currently dark blue. You can see I can change the transparency depending on how my design looks, okay, on the elements I have beneath it or as the background. So this helps me change transparency. I can animate this as well as to change the position. So you can see I can add animation to this. Then This is just for the position. If I had other elements here, I can decide on whether I'm moving it backward, forward, and so on. And this is just it about the line. Now let's see how we can add other elements. So we can add shapes. So to be able to add shapes, you see these very shapes here. You can select see all, and then you have different shapes you can select. You can select basic shapes like rectangles, circle, triangles. So from any of these, you can be able to make different kinds of adjustments, okay, to make your design look okay. So if I select this rectangle, for example, there are different kinds of editing I can do here. So starting from the stroke style, so you can see that I have now changed the stroke to dotted. Okay, you can change the stroke weight as well, as you can see here. So this is still dependent on the kind of design that I want to make for my presentation. I can change the color. Currently is blue. I can change it to this pink. Now for my corners, I can make it rounded. Okay, as you can see, I can make it rounded. And you can see my sides too. I can also change how my sides are. Okay, so you can see by changing the sides, I now have it looking like a triangle. Okay, that's giving it 3 sides. And that's just it. Now you have it as a triangle completely. Okay, so if I decide what I want is now a triangle, I just type 3 here, enter 3 here, and you can see it becomes a triangle. We started with a square. Now from this triangle, we can also make other adjustments. If I hold on to my Alt key and then drag this down, you can see I now have 2 triangles. So from these 2 triangles, I can still make other adjustments. So I can rotate this to 90 degrees, to 180 degrees, I mean. And you can now see what we have now. It's no longer what we started with. Okay. And I can group this. I select group here, and you can see that I can now move this as a single shape. Even as a single shape, I can rotate this to 90 degrees and also add other elements to this. So let's say I want to add an element here. I will just come back to this element, and this time around, I want to add a circle. So from this circle, I can be able to create something totally different. Okay, can be able to create something totally different, and this may be the kind of design that I want for my presentation. So you can see this looks like, will I call it a graduation cap or something. So depending on what you want to create, you can use this shape to get the exact kind of shape for that your creation. So once you've gotten it, you can just group this. So I will just click on group, and from this group you can change your color, change it to whatever color that you want, blue or any kind of color. So this is just it about the shapes. So we can also add transparency to shapes, just like we did for lines. We can also animate our shapes. Okay, as you can see, we can add animation to these shapes. Now, for these shapes as well, I've already shown you how you can add rounding corners. And what else do we need to see? So there are other options like the animations and so on. Let's just go straight to the last part of this video, which is the text. So to be able to add text, you can just click on your T on your keyboard. That's the T keyboard, and you have your text show up here. So you can adjust this text. You can type something new. So here you can just type, this is a demo. This is one way you can add the text by just clicking on the T. Another way you can add your text is to come under here. So here you see text, you click on it, and from here you just click on this add a text box, and it still brings a text box here. So you can also adjust this text box. You can add heading. If what you want is heading, you can see the difference when I click on add heading. It's a bigger size. Okay. You can add body. You can see the size for body. Now, if you have a brand kit like me, you can also add your brand text. Okay, but this depends on whether you've subscribed for the Canva Pro. Now, you have other kind of options here, like the kind of fonts that have already been created by Canva. So for this one now, if you click on it, you can see that this is a totally different font. So if this is the kind of brand font that you want, you can just select this. There are just so many options when it comes to the text. So if I scroll down, let's say I like this brand font, I can just bring it here, then make my adjustments here. Okay, so if mine is different and I don't want user, I can just, maybe what I want is, so you can see I'm able to change the font, the content of the font, but have it the way it's been displayed. So let's just use the simple form of font to demonstrate everything so that we are able to understand this very concept very well. So for this now, I will still type, this is a demo. So from here, we can see different kind of adjustments that we can make to this font. So let's start with bold. Once you click on bold, you can see it is now bold. We can change the color. We scroll down and see any color that we like here. So let's say I need this blue. I select this blue. You can see it's now blue color. Now from here, we can change the alignment as well. If we have, let's say we have something down here. So I can change this to center. Okay. I can also, so you can see I can right align it, center align it, as well as left align it. So I have different options. I can add lists to this. Okay. Now you can also add transparency, just as we have seen before. You can add effects. You have to be careful to be sure that you really need the effect that you are adding. So like a shadow effect here. Then you also make your adjustments here to have it the way you really want it to be. You can add the lift effect and so on. So this is just about how you can add your effects. Now you can add animation as well. So you can see, you can add animation to this text. Now what else? You can also change the font style. So currently it's Lato. We can change it to any kind of font style that we need here. So you just select this, then go down. I can change it to Montserrat, as you can see. So this helps us make different kind of adjustments to get exactly the kind of text that we need for our presentation. This is just the simple thing I want to show you about how to use your text, how to use your shapes as well as lines in Canva so as to prepare a very nice presentation. I hope you've been able to find this video helpful. Please, if you have, kindly like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.